Hello, hello, and ahoy, hoy. Hope you all have had and are having a wonderful week this week. I hope that tragedy has missed you as much as I have this week. So, without further ado, let's do the traditional checking of the lives to make sure I am here, as I am new to this. Also, double check my shitty audio. Make sure it's not super, super shitty. Okay, we're live on the YouTube. Can I hear it? Hold on. Time out. Oh, okay. All right. Good for me. Let me check the Twitch real quick. It said when watching, that was me. I was the one. Nobody really watches on Twitch, but you never know. You never know. Okay, there we go. Very good. Very nice. So, welcome one, welcome all to the next installment in our case study on Homer Simpson. It's been a full 7 days since we've done our last one. Our very first one was about Homer and his accidental homophobia, really. And the last episode we did, oh shit, I don't actually remember. I just blanked out. I remember, but I don't remember. What was it? This is why I need you guys. So you guys be like, duh, it was this. In fact, what was it? How am I blanking out? I think I just have too much Simpsons going on. I watch it constantly. I watch clips. I watch all kinds of shit on it. And a lot of it doesn't have to do with the things that I have been watching. Ah, the gun. That's why I don't remember. I mentally blocked it. That was a tough episode to do. Again, I mean, I had a lot of fun doing it, but it was just really bad timing. Last week was a pretty rough week for the United States as a nation. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we will not continue to have weeks and days the way we had last week. So yeah, it was a tough episode. It was the episode where Homer does purchase a gun and essentially chooses the gun over his family for a brief period of time. So we did go over that. If you have not seen that episode, I highly encourage you to watch it. It's just as well produced as this one. So if you like the production that's going on here, the raw, real nitty-gritty, poverty-stricken production value here, go for it. Go watch the past episodes. You will not be disappointed, I assure you. In today's episode, I am discussing another, I guess, gentle flaw that Homer Simpson has. In this episode called King Size Homer, from season 7, episode 7, Homer Simpson deliberately gains over 60 pounds so that he can claim insurance disability through his work. Now, it's almost controversial, I guess, because I think maybe one or two of us may know somebody here or there that might be morbidly obese. I myself am probably almost there. Let's be honest. Come on, take a look. You know what I mean? It ain't all daisies and roses up here. So I mean, it's actually one of those illnesses that is targeting American citizens specifically. You go into other countries or you talk to people from other countries, and you do see that they have this idea of fat American, fat ignorant American, fat stupid loud American. And it's not necessarily a prejudice. It's kind of a pattern recognition thing. A lot of us are overweight. In fact, most of us in the United States are overweight in some way, shape, or form. It's unbelievable how much weight you have to lose to be at your proper weight. Even people we would consider, fine or healthy or underweight, even are overweight, which is absolutely insane. And it does go back to our mind frame. It goes back to our conditioning. It goes back to our environment, the way we were raised, the way we were culturally raised, and the food we ate. And also, obviously, not to get political or environmental, but it's a lot of the food that we do eat that's absolutely processed and enriched and refined and all kinds of stuff that our body rejects. And in that rejection comes fat cells, and in those fat cells come cancer cells, et cetera, et cetera. So it is an ongoing issue, which is why I consider this episode, amongst many that we have been tackling, obviously, to be controversial. Cheers. Hold on, I might cough just so you guys know. Okay, I'm done. Again, I do want to remind you guys that this is a live episode. I may go into pre-recording them eventually, especially if I can't get my my screens to work out properly. Tonight, I'm going to try something new when it comes to sharing screens with you guys, and we're just going to see if that works for us. Like I said, I do enjoy the lives. I do enjoy being here, being able to be in any type of discussion with anybody who's here. I don't know if anybody is. I don't think so, actually. I don't think anybody's here now. But it doesn't hurt to check. So, I don't want you guys to hear Ah, hey Tony. All right. Hell yeah. So somebody's here. Okay, I should probably leave the chat up. I should probably do that. I don't want to hear me though. Hold on. Let me turn that down. How do I do that? Hey, nobody need to hear me twice. So, like I said, this episode is going to be slightly controversial. So I warn you. Here we go. Before I actually get started, I do have to read something. So let me do that really quick. Copyright disclaimer. Under Title 17 U.S.C. Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. So there you go. There's no guarantee that this episode will stay up, but I'm going to try it anyway. I'm not getting paid for it, so I don't think YouTube's going to have a problem. Also, there's going to be like 3 people watching. We're fine. We're fine. But you got to do what you got to do, right? Legal beagle, baby. That's how we do things around here. So let's get started. As I said, this episode is called King Size Homer. This is season 7, episode 7. Again, Homer deliberately decides he wants to gain weight. Now, how this episode actually starts, it starts with Mr. Burns encouraging physical fitness for his employees. So every morning he makes his employees get up and do calisthenics and all kinds of stuff outside before they actually start their work shift. Homer's obviously grown tired of trying to do this, so he's trying to figure out ways to not to not involve himself in such physical activities. He overhears Lenny and Carl talking about another coworker who just got sent home on workman's comp because he got hurt at work. So Homer to put it bluntly, but he gets this bright idea to hurt himself while he's at work. So he tries relentlessly to throw himself downstairs and do all these silly antics to hurt himself while he's on the job. Not that hard to do as he works for a nuclear power plant. So how he failed is beyond me, but that's Homer for you. So he gets this idea that, hey, I could do this. And he finds the rule where anybody who is over 300 pounds is deemed morbidly obese and qualifies for disability insurance and can have the option to work from home. So that's the one he actually goes for. It took, like I said, it took several times before he actually realized this. When he finally realizes this is what we get. So I'm going to go ahead and share this with you guys. Give me one sec.
Gain 61 pounds to let you work at home?
Uh-huh. That's the deal. No more exercise program. No more traffic. No more blood drives or charity walks.
Dad, I know we don't do a lot together, but helping you gain 61 pounds is something I want to be a part of.
Dad! I must protest. You're abusing a program intended to help the unfortunate.
So there you have it. Lisa's right then and there, ready to get preachy. She understands. She immediately understands what's wrong and what's going on. Hold on, I'm trying to pull up the chat just in case anybody is there. Okay. She reads card good. Thank you. Thank you. I do read card well. I read card well good. Yeah, so Lisa automatically knows that this is wrong. You can't do this, Dad. Now, she's the naysayer in everything anybody does in the family. She's the no fun guy in the entire family, right? But she's also the most level-headed, the most logical of the family. But this is the beginning of something that we can define, that we've already defined earlier. Again, another disclaimer: I am not a psychologist. I am not a psychiatrist. I have actively done therapy for grief, addiction, anxiety, and anger in my past. So I do have a little bit of experience in what a therapist would tell you, and this is what encouraged me to study the behaviors of other people, and encouraged me to study the behaviors that trigger me, so that I can understand them better and get ahead of them, basically. So again, I'm not a doctor of any kind, and again, like I said in previously, who cares? Nobody wants to hear from a doctor anyway. They want to hear from real people who actually suffer from these things. So I want to go over the psychology. Okay, so I'm going to read again. Read card good. Let's go. The psychology of the psychology of morbidly obese people. Although there are no singular personality type characteristics of the morbidly obese, they differ from the general population as their self-esteem and impulse control is lower. So we've discussed that before. Homer's impulse control is insane. He reacts within seconds. His self-esteem is probably pretty low, which we kind of went back to with the gun. I mean, his impulse control is evident in both previous episodes that we spoke of. His impulse control to be threatened and angry about John being gay, and his impulse control in feeling that power, the power that God must feel if he had a gun. So, there's that. And again, that self-esteem thing, there's a lack of confidence that has to be replaced with a void. The void is either actually in both cases, it was I'm really manly. Let me continue. They have passive dependent and passive aggressive personality traits, as well as a trend for somatization and problem denial, which is also true in Homer Simpson. He is absolutely passive dependent on Marge Simpson and on the family as a whole. There's actually another episode of The Simpsons where Homer and Marge get into this big argument. Homer moves into the treehouse. I actually was planning on doing this episode, to be honest. But Homer moves to the treehouse because Marge wants nothing to do with him. I don't remember the specifics why. But you see him cutting a bush into the shape of Marge's hair and sticking a paper plate for her face. Like, he's kind of going crazy about how much he doesn't have Marge with him. It's very disturbing, actually. And at the end of the episode, Marge tries to ask him, what can you offer me and this family that will be valid, that would mean anything to us? And he turns around and on his knees, he literally tells her, my uttermost codependence. Like, he tells her, I can't be a thing. I can't move a muscle without you. He's 1000% dependent on Marge Simpson. That's not healthy in any way, shape, or form. Codependency is a therapy issue, and a lot of people have it. We all have it, in fact. We don't like to look at it that way because it's so natural, it's so normal, and it's a little bit conditioned in certain ways for us to be dependent on someone else, and for us to be the ones to say, hey, you can count on me, you can depend on me, I'm here for you, brother, I'm here for you, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of natural for us. And it's a codependency, a thing of I scratch your back, you scratch mine. And then with that comes resentment and all kinds of hidden issues and anger and all kinds of things that you bury and bury and bury because you're supposed to be there for that person and vice versa. And when they're not holding their end of the bargain, you separate. Things happen. That's the psychology of how life actually works. His passive aggressiveness. There's a part in this episode where Marge tries to tiptoe around the idea of speaking to Homer about his weight gain, and then she mentions how, and I'll play it, but she mentions how he closed down his detective agency because she didn't like the hat he wore, or something simple like that. That's passive aggressiveness. Like, now I got to shut down. Poor me, poor me, poor me. Make sure you feel sorry for me. There's a narcissistic value in everything that Homer does and provides for his family. And it's not very positive, to be honest. And by the way, it says, as well as a trend for somatization and problem denial. Somatization is stress manifesting physically. Like if I'm stressed about something, either I'll break out or I'll gain weight or you know what I mean? Like there are things, and Homer does have actual symptoms of what it's like to be stressed. I mean, think about it. The man has a mortgage. He has 3 kids he has to pay for, a stay-at-home wife who doesn't probably bring in much income. He has to figure it out all the time, and it seems like he's dumb as a rock. So there's that. So yeah, they do a lot of this stuff manifests physically. And again, problem denial. That one's self-explanatory. Homer denies a lot. Homer denies nothing's wrong. Homer, if you guys remember the episode where he cooks the barbecue pig, and then Lisa bulldozes it because she doesn't want them eating meat, and it goes flying into the air, and it goes into the riverbed, and it gets all kinds of dirty. And throughout that entire scene, Homer is saying, "It's still good. It's still good." Like he's so convinced that he's still going to be able to eat that pork. So like problem denial. It's a very, very evident thing in Homer, which is kind of interesting, actually. Interesting enough. Anyway. Am I supposed to start the video again? Let's start it again and see where we come up with now. Now, I think in the next couple of scenes, it goes up to Marge nagging, and then also Lisa being severely concerned. The kids are very scared for their father's health.
I'm not saying it isn't sleazy, honey, but try to see it my way. All my life, I've been an obese man trapped inside a fat man's body.
Have you told Mom about this?
No, it would only worry her. If you want to add to her worries, go ahead. I guess I'm just a little more grateful for all she's done for us.
Dad!
Yes, sweetheart.
Obesity is really unhealthy. Any doctor will tell you that.
Oh, yeah? Well, we'll just see about that, little Miss Smart Guy.
Did you see how he just tried to gaslight her? Like he just tried to gaslight her and making her, his daughter, feel guilty about Marge. Oh, I must care more about your mom's feelings than you do, because no, I don't plan on telling her and making her worry more. That's gross. That's absolutely gross and insane behavior. Homer is hilarious. Here's the thing. The Simpsons is brilliant. I blow smoke up their booty all the time because it's a brilliant show. You can't change perfection. Sorry, guys. But this is what makes it so good. It's obviously something you're supposed to laugh at. It brings humor to real life situations. If this was a real life situation and this was filmed and somebody put it on Instagram, you know how many women specifically, but you know how many people will be like, narcissist, he's a narcissist. Look at him gaslighting. He's gaslighting everybody. That's Homer. That's exactly what he's doing. And the scary part is, I'm not really sure how much of an exaggeration that is in this day and age for people to justify their wrongdoings. Let's continue.
My God, that's monstrous. I've never heard of anything so negligent. I'll have no part of it.
Can you recommend a doctor who will?
Yes.
Hi, everybody!
Hi, Dr. Nick.
So, of course, Dr. Nick helps them. He makes sure that he gives Homer enough tips so that he can gain weight quickly, and Homer ends up gaining weight extremely quickly. Actually, he meets his goal. He's so proud of himself, which is just absolutely twisted. He's extremely proud of himself for reaching his goal of over 300 pounds. In fact, he reaches 315 pounds specifically, and he does gain the ability to work from home. He finally gets his workers' comp, and he's the happiest man alive. And this next scene, we will be seeing Mr. Burns congratulating him on this and understanding. I honestly, I just a little like parentheses here on Mr. Burns. He doesn't seem disgusted. And honestly, he's still there. He's kind of business as usual. Given that he was just giving the calisthenics classes and trying to encourage his employees to be a little bit more physically fit as they work. Most of them work on their asses all day. They sit down and they push buttons and they watch levels and they look at machines. They work in a nuclear power plant. It's not very physical. Did I say nuclear? I think I said nuclear. Shout out George Bush. Shout out 9/11. So yeah, I don't think he was very disgusted. And for Mr. Burns not to be disgusted, maybe it's because of the tone of the episode, but that's surprising. That's surprising that Mr. Burns doesn't be too insulting. And the only thing he does say is, what did he say? Gastruous? I think he calls him a gastruous unit, or I don't know. He says something. He calls him an adjective, and that's kind of as far as it goes, which is hilarious in itself. But you would think Mr. Burns would be just a little bit more adamant about how he feels about this, given he has been trying to make his employees work harder in the most healthy way.
I'm pleased to dedicate this remote work terminal. It will allow our safety inspector here to perform his duties from home. And so, excelsior to you, Mr. What's the name of this gastropod?
Simpson, sir, one of your chair moisteners from Sector 7G.
Yes, Simpson!
Thank you for your pity.
Mom, were you ever planning to step in and put a stop to this?
Normally, your father's crackpot schemes fizzle out as soon as he finds something good on TV. But this season...
Pardon.
The fact that she made reference to this season is hilarious. Again, this is season 7. They're actually in their prime in all of this. I think seasons like 3 to maybe 9 or 10. Let's push it to 12. The best of all of Simpsons in the almost 40 years it's been around, -5. I was 5 years old when I got into it. You do the math on that one. But yeah, it's hilarious that they every once in a while the Simpsons does break that fourth wall, and I actually absolutely love that about the Simpsons. So yeah, Homer gets extremely quickly comfortable with the idea of working from home. As you can see in this scene here, he purchased himself a muumuu. I got to be honest with you guys, I own a muumuu. They are so comfortable. My sister got me a muumuu last year for Christmas or my birthday, one or the other. It's black and it's really cute. I actually wore it on an episode of Alive recently. Well, not recently. Probably when I first got it because I loved it so much. They're so comfortable. All of your body fits well. All of you, every bit of you. It's so great. I recommend a muumuu highly. But as you can see, he went shopping for a muumuu. He went shopping for a Kangol hat. I don't know what it is about extremely obese fellas and Kangols, but they seem to go hand in hand. It's kind of funny actually. But here we are. Here we are with Homer in his muumuu, his flower muumuu, very effeminate for whatever reason. And maybe the reason is when you are overweight, even slightly, the estrogen levels are risen. And this is just like physical science. This is biology. His estrogen levels are way up. Homer probably has big boobs. There's all kinds of things happening physically to his body. So much more to the point where Marge actually tries to sit Homer down, like seriously. And she ends up telling him, I'm not physically attracted to you anymore. I didn't write these notes down. Let me write them down. Let me see if I have them over here. Yeah. So he ends up sitting down with Marge, and Marge is like, Homer, I'm just not attracted to you anymore. Like, I don't like any of this. So then Homer tries to call her shallow. He tries to gaslight her and guilt her into feeling bad about how she should feel really bad for how she feels about her not being attracted to him. And it's insane. It's absolutely insane. The man gained 60 pounds in a span of months. He changed his whole physique for a small paycheck where he doesn't have to go anywhere. And he is absolutely thrilled by this fact that he doesn't have to go anywhere. Here is what happens.
At least I have to go to school while I get to stay home. Nya, 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 nya.
I like school.
Well, why don't you live in it then?
I would if I could.
Not me, sister. When I grow up, I want to be a lardo on workman's comp just like Dad.
Okay, just so you guys know, I don't mean to pause it so quickly, but I kind of also do. This scene is a Simpsons classic, and me and my sisters say it all the time. Anytime we overeat or anytime we're feeling fat, we always like to say this line that Bart is about to say. You'll know the line when you hear it.
Dad. I wash myself with a rag on a stick.
Ew!
Okay, so yes, that's hilarious, but it's also kind of not. I mean, I think a lot of us have seen enough shows where we have actually seen My 600-Pound Life. I think that's probably the main one. I watch it a lot. Anytime I get a chance to, or anytime it's on, or it's binge worthy on a live television, or it's like, oh, I remember that show. I do watch it. it does make you feel a certain way to watch somebody struggle with their weight. And then you sit there and you think, all you had to do was stop. All you had to do was this. All you had to do was that. We all have the answers, just like in a football game. By the way, football just kicked off tonight in the United States. Let's go, Chargers, Super Bowl bound. But yeah, it's weird how we all can Monday morning quarterback these situations. I do it all the time, and I'm not. I'm overweight. I'm probably close to morbidly obese if we're speaking honestly, and medically speaking, and physically speaking, American speaking, maybe not so much. But yeah, bro, I'm fat. You know what I mean? So like it's not something that's, oh, that's not relatable. And that's like, I wash myself with the right. No, man, it can hit every single one of us and any single one of us the same way any addiction can. That'll never be me. That'll never be me. That's the scary part is, you know what? A lot of times the people that'll never be me end up that way. And there's also this other side of it with these mukbangs and the encouragement through social media. So it's even so much worse now than it was back then. And 1997, I don't remember exactly when this episode came out, but it's so much worse now than it was back then. The idea and the encouragement for people to gain weight, whether by accident or on purpose, but to consume and consume and consume calories without doing anything to expel those calories back out. It's not easy, especially, like I said, there's remote work, there's all kinds of elements. And the next thing you know, in the blink of an eye, you are 400 pounds and you can't move. And I'm not saying this as a person to make fun of people like this. In fact, it's the opposite. I have dealt with this in my personal life and with relatives and with friends, and there's things that come with it. There's hygienic issues that come with it, and there's all kinds of things that, and you're just like, you don't see that side of that. And I think that does go back to problematic and personal denial. That's not me. No, I don't smell it, or whatever the issue is. There's personal denial, and it scares me personally because like, oh shit, like how many times am I going to say, no, I'm still okay. Look in the mirror and flex and jiggle my arms and see how much jiggle is there. No, I'm good. I'm gonna eat. You know what I mean? Like it's these are real issues that people are concerned with. And this scene next that we're going to see, Lisa is absolutely terrified for her father.
Mom! This whole thing is really creepy. Are you sure you won't talk to Dad?
I'd like to, honey, but I'm not sure how. Your father can be surprisingly sensitive. Remember when I giggled at a Sherlock Holmes hat? He sulked for a week and then closed his detective agency.
Well, maybe you'll have to.
There it is right there. The gaslighting. He sulked for a week and closed his detective agency. He bought a Sherlock Holmes hat, opened a detective agency. Marge didn't like the hat. He closed his detective agency. Fuck you, Marge. I hope you feel bad about this. That is textbook gaslighting right there. They obviously don't say the word. It wasn't really a buzzword back then, but it is a therapeutic buzzword now. Now, here's the thing about therapy. Here's another little disclaimer. I personally am not a huge fan of therapy because what therapy tends to do a lot of times is it tends to excuse bad behaviors from people who are in therapy. It tends to excuse people to do really bad things and then say it was because of my anger. It was because of my anxiety. It was because of my bipolar. I'm bipolar. But none of those things, being obese, none of these things are an excuse for us to be assholes to other people. You know what I mean? So in that sense, I do think therapy does have its cons. I do think it has its pros in that you can actually learn, but there's a time period. Do not be in therapy for the rest of your life because that's only you seeking validation. Be in therapy for what you need it for. Grab your tools and get to work. That's what therapy is for. You shouldn't be in therapy longer than 6 months. Again, given the trauma, given the things that you have to work through. Sometimes it does take longer. But to be in therapy for the rest of your life, 7 o'clock, I had to see my therapist after 18 years. No, that is called codependency, and your therapist will never tell you that because your therapist likes to make money off of you. So thank you very much. Let's move on.
To hurt his feelings. The longer he lives like this, the harder it'll be to go back.
You're right. Maybe if I use my least nagging tone of voice. Homer. 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 That's it. That's the one. All right, send the money.
I like how that's her least nagging voice. That's her least Homer. That's her least nagging voice. So she does eventually. This is what I mentioned earlier. She does eventually speak with Homer. This is that, and that's when he gaslights her. He tells him, "Hey, I'm not attracted to you anymore. I really wish you would change this." He obviously decides not to. He continues to work. As you can see there, he found a loophole in having to work. He's watching television while he's working. Tell me that is not a Simpsons prediction, ladies and gentlemen. Tell me that is not what remote workers do now, because that's exactly what they do. They order food in, right? They work from home while they're watching whatever the hell they want to watch. They're not working at all. I do believe I'm a remote worker, so I kind of do it myself. I have so many things. I have my YouTube going on my television. I'm working on my computer, and I'm playing a game on my phone. I am doing all three at once. Do you think this right here is going to be my main focus? No. So no judgment, Homer. I get what you're doing, but you see how he's using the broom handle to actually press the buttons that he needs to push. Like, he's just found loopholes. And this is, I think, what brings the stereotype of obesity, of laziness. You can't be super obese if you don't work out, right? I don't work out. I haven't worked out since last year. It's going to be a year and a couple days. September 7th, 2024. September 7th, 2024, I broke my ribs. I broke 3 ribs, actually, right here on the right side of my rib cage. I couldn't move for 8 weeks. I couldn't move. Like, I literally sat and laid. It was terrible. It was weird. It didn't, as much as it hurt, I've been through worse. I have kids, whatnot. But the hardest part was not the pain. It was the lack of movement. I couldn't move. I had to sit still. I had to lay in a certain position. I couldn't lay on my stomach. I couldn't lay on my side. I had to completely be on my back 24/7 for 8 full weeks. I had no brace because they don't do braces on rib cages anymore. I do wear one now, especially when I'm at work and I'm setting up and stuff. I do wear one now to like hold myself in so that like it's less sore, because it does get sore every once in a while. But before that, for the 2 years before that, I was physically fit. I was in very good shape for my age and for my history and et cetera, et cetera. I was very active. In fact, the way I broke my ribs, I was climbing and I was exercising. So, it just stopped. After September 7th of 2024, everything stopped. So I know for a fact, my severe weight gain in 1 year has been caused by my lack of physical activity. The same exact lack of physical activity as you see Homer doing. That's me. That's me. I've learned to work remotely. I've learned to make money from home, and I started doing so. And in that, I sit my ass down all day. So there's evidence. Like, this is real life what's happening in this episode. As comically as it's happening, it's actually happening to a lot of us.
What's your dad's job again? He's a nuclear safety technician.
What's he doing with that broom?
What isn't he doing?
I heard that guy's ass has its own congressman.
Hey, leave my dad alone. Just because he's overweight doesn't mean he's bad. He's a sweet man and he has real feelings.
Hey, what are you kids looking at?
Hey, look, he's trying to get up to yell at us.
Okay, so that's funny, but it's also not. I'm not laughing that hard. In this scene, hold on, let me pull this up real quick. In this scene here, we are seeing that the kids are getting bullied and they're getting made fun of for how their dad's appearance is, for how he reacts to certain things, for how he's dumb in a dumb way pushing a broom while he's watching TV, not even paying attention to what he's supposed to be doing. And these kids are watching this in real time along with his children. And it's kind of sad. It's actually really sad because what does this remind me of? What's Eating Gilbert Grape? Do you remember how Gilbert was always getting ridiculed for his mom being obese, super obese and bedridden, and you remember at the end when they had to face the ridicule of them having to tear the top floor down because they couldn't pull her dead body down the stairs. Spoilers, I guess, but go watch the movie. It's a great movie. Leonardo DiCaprio in his prime at like 15 or 16, whatever. But they end. Oh, Johnny Depp. Oh my God, Johnny Depp's in the movie. So they end up pulling the lady out of the top, like with a crane. Like they get a crane, they pull her out because she's so large, and the family is watching the entire thing happen. And after that, the family ends up watching the house burn because they burn it down. They don't want any memory of that house, any memory of their lives with that woman in that house because of the things they were put through and the codependency that happened there. These situations are so insufferable for children. And I mean, again, it's done in a humorous way, which is so brilliant. But if you think about the seriousness of this is downright wrong. This is downright child abuse, really, to his own children, watching them get bullied and doing nothing about it. So eventually Homer gets a little bit too lazy in this episode, and he ends up he finds another classic scene. Unfortunately, I don't have it here, but another classic scene in this episode where Homer grabs a water bird. It's one of those birds that goes and it just drinks water, right? I don't know if it was a scientific experiment, like a physics thing, or just the balance of the bird and the balance of the bottom. You know what I mean? It was one of those things. So he ends up using that as his coworker, basically, where he can push the yes button, the no button, the yes button, the no button. Only the thing is, the bird only pushes the yes button. Homer realizes in a lot of what he does is he doesn't have to push YES. He could just push the Y. He doesn't have to push NO. He can just push the N. And in that, like, gives him his first shortcut. There comes his second shortcut. Oh my God, all of these answers are yes. Y.
Don't make me close that shade.
Sorry. Y. And then after that, he realizes, hey, if all I'm pressing is Y, why not use something else to press it for me instead of finding the button with a broomstick? Oh my God, it's just saying it out loud is hilarious. So he does. While he does that, he realizes that he presses yes to exhale nuclear gases, which he was not supposed to do. So he does it several times. A few times, cornfields die out immediately. Animals die out immediately. He's essentially causing a nuclear disaster little by little. When he finally realizes that's what he's doing, he's like, oh my God, I don't know what to do next. So he decides to call 911. Another classic episode, which I do not have here, but no problem. He decides to call 911, right? So he pushes 911 with his fingers, and the 911 operator says, the fingers you have used are too fat. Please mash the button for an emergency. So he mashes the entire telephone pad, and he's like, I can't wait. There's no time. So he slams the phone down. He runs outside, and the first thing he sees is an ice cream truck going down the road. So he starts to flag down the ice cream truck. He's like, hey, I need your help. You got to help me. You got to help me. And he sounds like this crazy madman. And the ice cream truck man gets so afraid. He's like, no, take everything. Take anything you want. So Homer gets into the truck immediately, and he starts barreling down the road to get to the nuclear power plant.
I heard your dad went into a restaurant and ate everything in the restaurant, and they had to close the restaurant.
Hey, my dad may have gained a little weight, but he's not some kind of food-crazed maniac.
The raspberry.
So there he is. He obviously stole the ice cream truck in order to get to the nuclear power plant to tell them, hey, it's about to blow. I need you guys right now to help me out in this. Let's get together, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, that doesn't happen, but it's just hilarious that even Ralph gets in on the trolling. Even Ralph kind of gets in on the bullying of the Simpson family and how their dad is so fat. I don't know how much that part is happening today. I do know that kids will be kids. I do know that it's probably happening. But I don't know exactly how much that's happening, as most of our parents are probably fat, are probably obese. If my kids were bullied for it, I'd be like, hey, well, they're right. I'm fat guy. You know what I mean? Like, but no kid wants to hear a negative thing about their parent ever. Our children look at us as heroes. To quote Silent Hill, the movie, mothers are God in the eyes of a child. So our children absolutely look up to us, almost even in the most biblical manner, depending on the parent, of course, but even maybe not depending on the parent. All the kid knows is you. All the kid knows is us. And so, like, to understand that their example of a human being or an adult human being as a failure or somebody to clown on or make fun of or troll, it's not a fun idea, and it's not a fun example that you want to portray for your kids, and it's not a fun thing that your kids want to see as you. So in this episode, or I'm sorry, so in this scene, obviously Mr. Burns is doing calisthenics with the rest of his staff, and his techniques are hilarious. So let's listen. I actually think it's pretty funny that nobody is paying attention to anything going around. It's funny that there's no alarms happening. The end of the world isn't very much near as far as the Springfield nuclear power plant is concerned. Everything is honky-dory because nobody knows what's going on. I do find that kind of funny. But here's Homer. Here's Homer ironically saving the day even.
Stupid switch! I wish I had my reaching broom.
I wish I had my reaching broom. You see? Do you see how quickly he's so dependent on other things? He's so codependent. Oh my God. I wish I had my reaching broom. All of a sudden, it's not a broom, it's a reaching broom. Anyway, I thought that's funny. Okay, well, I think that's funny. Okay. Anyway, let's get back to the hi-ya-yas.
Wait a minute. There's probably a...
So there it is. I'm not done, obviously. There's not that much left, though. But Homer somehow saves the day. Now, here's the thing, and here has been the pattern with these Simpsons episodes, is they don't tend to end, do they? I mean, I guess they can't, as it's a series. Let's end this, and then I will close.
Homer, your bravery and quick thinking have turned a potential Chernobyl into a mere 3 Mile Island. Bravo!
I think it's ironic that Dad saved the day while a slimmer man would have fallen to his death.
And I think it's ironic that for once Dad's butt prevented the release of toxic gas.
Bart!
If you gain 61 pounds, they'll let you...
Cool. So that's how that episode pretty much ends. In fact, it actually ends with Homer having to do late night calisthenics with Mr. Burns. He ends up kind of giving up. And then Mr. Burns like, forget it. I'll just pay for the surgery. So, I mean, there's evidence there that Homer actually got liposuction surgery or gastric bypass. I don't know what they're called now. I think he was getting liposuction now. Hold on. Let me fix this. It's gross. But yeah, that's essentially how the episode ends. So again, these episodes, actually have no real resolve, have no real world resolve. And because it's a cartoon, it's okay. Um, but it does, these episodes do end up with real world issues where, again, if you saw this as a YouTube video on Midway Safety, shout out Midway Safety, one of the best cops for YouTube, basically. Oh my god, I love watching cop shows. But if this was one of those neglectful parent does blah 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 to child, if this was one of those episodes, we would absolutely be in disgust. So it's interesting to view this character in this way, to view him in a sense of if you were a real world guy, you're trash. And again, I don't. It's a cartoon. Let's go touch grass. Let's be in reality, right? But it's just an interesting thing to see because The Simpsons, whether it knows it or not, whether it's on purpose or not, I honestly do think it's on purpose. It does get balls deep. It does go dig its claws into the reality of status quo and the reality of what life is. I mean, how relatable is this episode today to where a lot of people are now in the remote work? And I work from my home, I work from my computer, and a lot of that was obviously due to COVID, but a lot of people never went back. A lot of people gained those 60 pounds to become disabled and become morbidly obese so that they can get those paychecks, and they learned the loophole. That's real life. That's actually happening. It's just mind blowing that that type of existence does exist, and that there are ways to cure that type of behavior. There are ways to cure a lot of behaviors. Now, there's nothing to suggest that anybody has to be perfect. Nobody's ever going to be the most perfect human being, which is why therapy is there. It's there for a tool. It's there for us to understand other people's behaviors and react accordingly, and for them to do likewise for us. So with that, thank you guys. I think this was a really, really good episode. I want to thank my cousin for being there for me. Yay. Oh, hold on. Time out. I forgot I had these. So thank you. Thank you, anybody and anybody else who has joined us in this episode. I do think it was a really, really fun discussion. The chat was quiet, but you know what? No big deal. I had a really, really fun time with this one. I hope to see you guys next week, next Thursday. I know football just started. I was trying to watch the game as I was doing this. Didn't work out very well, but it's okay. Welcome, NFL season. Let's go, Chargers. I will see you guys next Thursday. Bye.